What if retirement is a trap? The deferred life plan, work now, enjoy later, is a lie. Tim Ferriss reveals the escape route that changed millions of lives. Tim Ferriss was killing himself. Literally. In 2004, he was working 14-hour days running a sports nutrition company. He was making money, sure. But he was also having panic attacks, losing hair, and contemplating the unthinkable. Then something clicked. He realized he wasn't building a dream, he was building a prison. So he did something radical. He automated his business, outsourced 80% of his tasks, and left the country. But here's the real insight. His income didn't drop. It actually increased. While he traveled to 15 countries, learned tango in Argentina, and trained in kickboxing in Thailand, his company ran itself. This wasn't luck. It was a system. A system he would later call lifestyle design. And it starts with destroying the biggest lie you've ever been told about success. The lie is this: work hard for 40 years, save your money, then retire, and finally enjoy life. Ferriss calls this the deferred life plan. And this is where it gets powerful. It's not just inefficient, it's a fantasy. Think about it. You're betting everything on a future version of yourself who may not exist. Who may be too sick, too tired, or too old to do the things you've been dreaming about. But worse than that, you're assuming that the things you want at 65 are the same things you want at 35. They're not. Ferriss proposes something radical: mini retirements. Instead of saving all your living for the end, you distribute rest and adventure throughout your entire life. Take a month off now. Travel for 3 months every year. The goal isn't to escape work forever, it's to escape the wrong work immediately. If this is already reshaping how you think, drop a like so I know to keep going deeper. But here's the problem most people have. They say they want freedom, but what they really want is permission. Permission to live differently. Permission to reject the default path. Ferriss doesn't give you permission, he gives you a framework. He calls it DEAL. D stands for definition. What the author reveals next is brilliant. Most people never define what they actually want. They chase vague goals like success or financial freedom without ever calculating what that means in dollars, hours, and experiences. Ferriss makes you do the math. How much does your dream life actually cost per month? For most people, it's shockingly less than they think. Because they've been chasing status symbols instead of specific outcomes. E is for elimination. And this is where Ferriss gets controversial. He argues that being busy is a form of laziness. Lazy thinking, lazy priorities. The Pareto principle says 80% of your results come from 20% of your actions. But the most important lesson is this. Elimination isn't about doing less, it's about doing less of what doesn't matter. Ferriss introduces selective ignorance. He stopped reading newspapers. He stopped checking email constantly. He created rules that seemed insane. Check email twice daily at specific times. Never take calls without a scheduled appointment. Let most problems solve themselves. The result? He reclaimed hours every single day. hours he reinvested into the 20% of activities that actually moved the needle. Now here comes automation. This is where lifestyle design gets real. Ferriss outsourced everything possible. He hired virtual assistants from India for $4 an hour. They handled customer service, scheduled appointments, even researched his next travel destinations. He created systems and standard operating procedures so anyone could run his business. Think about that for a second. What would happen if you treated your time like it was worth $500 an hour? You'd stop mowing your own lawn. You'd stop spending 3 hours researching flights. But everything I just told you, that's just the setup. Because here's where most people fail. They know what to do, but they don't do it. Fear stops them. Fear of judgment. Fear of failure. Fear of success. Ferriss created something he calls fear setting. And it's more powerful than any goal-setting exercise you've ever tried. The wisdom deepens when we consider this. Instead of asking what's the best case scenario, you ask what's the worst case scenario, and you write it in painful detail. What if you quit your job and your business fails? You'd burn through your savings. You'd have to move in with family. You'd feel embarrassed at high school reunions. But then you ask, could I recover from this? How long would it take? For most fears, the answer is yes, within 6 months to a year. Now flip it. What's the cost of inaction? What does your life look like in 1 year, 5 years, 10 years if you change nothing? That cost is almost always worse. The fear of a mediocre life should terrify you more than the fear of temporary failure. And this is how you apply it. The final letter is L, liberation. This is the escape itself. Ferriss provides a playbook for negotiating remote work or building location-independent income. But wait, there's one more key idea. For employees, he suggests a gradual approach. First, prove your productivity when working from home by calling in sick and delivering exceptional work. Then propose 1 remote day per week. Expand from there. Make yourself so valuable that location becomes irrelevant. For entrepreneurs, liberation means building what Ferriss calls a muse, a low-maintenance business that generates cash with minimal time investment. Not a passion project. Not a startup that requires 60-hour weeks. A simple product or service that can be automated and outsourced. He gives specific examples. Information products like e-books or courses. Reselling existing products with better marketing. Licensing or franchising someone else's proven system. The key is, start small, test cheap, and only scale what works. What comes next will change how you think, forever. Because here's what Ferriss understood that most productivity gurus miss. Time is not money. Time is life. You can always make more money. You cannot make more time. Every hour you spend doing something you hate is an hour you'll never get back. And the saddest part? Most people spend their best years, their healthiest, most energetic years, building someone else's dream. Then they retire just in time to be too exhausted to live their own. The 4-hour workweek isn't really about working 4 hours. It's about designing a life where work serves you instead of consuming you. It's about having the courage to question everything you've been taught about success. Because the real metric isn't how much money you have in the bank. It's how much freedom you have in your calendar. Ferriss calls this the new rich. Not millionaires who work 80 hours a week, but people who control their time, regardless of their net worth. So where does this leave you? Ferriss wrote The 4-Hour Workweek in 2007. Some critics say the tactics are dated, virtual assistants are more expensive now, the internet is more crowded. But the philosophy is timeless. The deferred life plan is still a trap. Selective ignorance is more important than ever in our notification-obsessed world. And fear-setting works whether you're launching a startup or asking for a raise. The question isn't whether Ferriss's exact methods will work for you. The question is, are you willing to design your life intentionally, or will you keep accepting the default? Because here's the uncomfortable truth. A year from now, you'll wish you started today. The tools have changed since 2007. But human psychology hasn't. We still trade our time for the illusion of security. We still defer our dreams for someday. Ferriss gave us the framework. The rest is up to you. Now you understand why the 4-hour workweek changed millions of lives. Not because it promised easy money, but because it questioned everything about how we trade our time. If this reshaped how you think about work and freedom, subscribe for weekly book wisdom that cuts through the noise. And tell me in the comments, what would you do with an extra 20 hours every week? That's your answer. That's your North Star. The Synopsis Forge, we read so you can transform.